Full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the word, so shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode, we're playing against the Tennessee Titans in Week 13. They're coming to us. They're 3-8 on the season. Looking a little bit better these days, though, against us. And we're on a 3-game losing streak, so we're trying to end that and move up to 8-5. We're currently 7-5. Before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
I went to the archives. So I realized the Gibbs Bible itself, the first recording of the Gibbs Bible, it was almost like prophecy, got released in the 1960s. I don't know if you know this, but during that period, there were a lot of gospel groups and everything that kind of came around, and they had songs that like really got into the spirit of what it is that the Gibbs Bible was about, right? And I tell you right now, from the 1960s, these guys are like, they're fucking Nostradamus, they're fucking prophets, right? So I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna let the righteous districts, just take care of this particular part of the pod.
Oh, in the name of the Lord, we rise and play. Under Coach Gibbs, we're led his way. District divided, the faithful are strong. Burgundy and gold, we've been here all along. Oh, share the word, let the faithful sing. District divided, praise the glory he brings. From the fed to the streets, let the gospel hit. In Coach Gibbs' name, share this shit.
Gotta share this shit. You 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 gotta share this shit. Yeah, share this shit. Feel it.
That was beautiful. Share this shit. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to post that on social media. That's incredible. Share this shit, please. We greatly appreciate it. But before we begin, man, that was electric. Before we begin the preview of the game against the Tennessee Titans, we also had the fiasco that was the loss to the Dallas Cowboys at home, 34-26, an absolutely chaotic set of events at the very end of the game that inflated the score to heights unknown. It was 10-9 with just a few minutes to go. But in order to understand that better, we, of course, go to our All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, and here we go with it. Thank you for the intro, as always, KDot. And once again, we lose that game 34-26. We drop to 7-5. Is the sky falling? Kind of, but also we're looking at progression of the team, progression of the culture. How's Jayden doing? Are we doing the right things? Are we going for it on fourth down? Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. Maybe we should go for it more. KDot, over to you. Your thoughts in general about this game and what you saw with your not 50, not 60, but 70 screens.
When you said fourth down, my right eye started feeling like it got a little twitchy.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't focus on that in the All-22 because I didn't feel like killing anyone. Plus, the All-22 was finalized last night after I'd spent my Thanksgiving shitting and puking my brains out.
Watching the film.
Watching the Cowboys beat like a man. Yeah, wonderful night, guys. Wonderful night. Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
All right, so the offense, as you said, is the sky falling? What's going on? What can we infer from the All-22 to kind of know what the status of the team itself is? Of course, we're going to start with the offense. That's what everybody's here for. That's what they care about. And I think I'm going to break it down. Let's start with Kliff Kingsbury. Now, I think the onus has been, or the worry has been, has he been figured out? Are we in this backslide as far as from the offensive game plan? Does Kliff have his fastball right now? Overall, I think it still works. I don't think his system itself is being has been figured out. There were way too many opportunities at certain times in the game where guys were getting open. And to me, it's like, if I see dudes that are screaming open within the offensive system, then to me, that means it's working. Like, he's doing what he needs to do as far as getting some dudes open. He's still doing some creative stuff as far as the play action, some of the motion, some of the RPO stuff. It's just, there are a few things that I think this is what's so frustrating about it. It's execution, man. They're just not executing. And I don't know if it's a talent gap. I mean, it probably has something to do with it as far as there being a talent gap, but there does feel as though they're just not executing it anywhere near the clip that they were at the beginning of the season. They're just not. Yep.
So, a question on that. When you say execution, what I'm thinking about is, because, I mean, Jayden Daniels, we're assessing him, we're seeing his growth, we're seeing any regression, things like that. Is he making the correct throws? Is he not getting to maybe points of the progression where you wish he would, KDot? Like, talking about Jayden and execution, is he executing, or where is he falling short?
Jayden did not have a particularly great game, but it was better than I think we think it was, watching it as it was kind of unfolding live. And it's getting sort of frustrating because I'm starting to feel like a broken record, where it's like I get in Jayden didn't play his best, but he did okay. But this game in particular, you can clearly see, like, he was trying to overcome a lot of the deficiencies the rest of the team was having, and it just wasn't enough. Like, he's a rookie quarterback. You're trying to put everything on him. It's just not enough to get it done. Look, scooting back to Kliff, because I do want to talk about Jayden a bit more, because I do have some flowers I want to give him. But if there are criticisms as far as Kliff Kingsbury goes, is that there were moments in this particular game that they started switching up some of the stuff that they were doing, and it started having more success. I'm curious as to why he didn't do that earlier. I don't know. Like, you see a lot of times in, like, third down, we go with an empty back set. With an empty back set, you have to have your linemen win these matchups one-on-one. And I'm sorry, but our offensive line is not in a position right now to win these matchups one-on-one. I do see that there seems to be a bit of a regression from where they were at the beginning of the season as far as that stuff goes, and the executing as far as the offensive line. What you then saw later on in the game is that he was putting Ekeler there in the backfield, or they'd have a running back in the backfield on a lot of the third down plays, just to sort of chip or at least block whatever the middle linebacker, something was coming down to the end. What they were able to do at least a certain point in the game was to stop the pressure from coming in the interior by using a running back to chip. What they've also been doing a little bit more, and it's happened more during the game or over the course of the game, is they'll have two wide receivers playing close to the line of scrimmage and get a chip before they'll go and run their routes. Sometimes you'll see Luke McCaffrey just try to throw a little block and then run out and do whatever it is that he was doing. And that buys a little bit of time. And then with that, you had Jayden be able to have more time to deliver the football. But when it came to delivering the football, that's where we go, the execution. Drops, wrong routes, Jayden himself not throwing the ball exactly where it needed to be. Jayden himself might have feeling the pressure a little bit more, not setting his feet on all the throws. I will say him setting his feet was a lot better this game than it was the previous game. From an injury standpoint, you could absolutely see the rib is probably not an issue anymore. You could see it with the Kims running. It was there. Good shit. It's just, there's certain things that are just, I really just keep going back to the execution piece. Like, I like the fact that Kliff was able to make the changes that he had to make the changes that he made to get us more success when it came to the pass pro. But there are other things that he needs to figure out, and I don't know, because I don't know how it is that they're figuring out. Because I don't think it's scheme, I think it's execution. What is really different this time around, or these last few weeks compared to previously, is a lot of the quick game or a lot of the screen passes are just not working. The slants and stuff, I'm just saying I don't see enough of them, but the screens seem to be getting blown up immediately. And if you really look at the screens, I think what it is you got wide receivers and running backs not running and being in the spot they're supposed to be. Linemen too slow to get to where they need to be as far as setting up the block. And then if you have one dude not take care of their responsibility on a screen, you're fucked. You're completely fucked. Because, at the end of the day, you need to have perfect execution to get these guys to get to the second level or whatever. And you just see these screens getting blown up immediately, right? You see somebody meeting somebody in the backfield and it's fucking done. It's just, I don't think it's Kliff. I don't think it's Kliff. If there's anything from Kliff, it's like, hey, why didn't you do stuff with the running backs and the wide receivers earlier in the game to help pass pro for Jayden? That's my only.
Okay. So the screen's not really working anymore. Sounds like short game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I'm almost wondering, like, is it getting telegraphed? Like, because it doesn't seem like the blocking should necessarily change. Like,
I think they're not blocking as good. They're just not blocking as good.
Okay.
I just don't think they're getting to the spots they need to get to. And this is where it comes down to where I said, like, at the beginning, I think the talent is catching up to us. I think that like, we've done so well so far in the season. And I don't know if it's, see, this is where I don't know. Do you blame Kliff? Do you blame Dan? Or do you blame just the talent? Because these guys are just not doing what it is they did early in the season. Doesn't mean maybe the players were starting to think, oh, we got this shit. We don't need to try. Like, I don't know. Is it the injuries that just don't have them fully back at 100% at this point in the season? I mean, if you look, we're one of the few teams that haven't had a bye yet. It's long into the fucking season, right? Like they're just not executing the same clip. There's not enough oomph to get there and to do the things that you need to do. That's what I'm seeing more than anything. I see enough guys getting open that I don't want to blame Kliff's offense because I'm like, that's there. Take that, do that. And it's not doing what it needs to do. And then to get more into Jayden, yeah, I wouldn't blame Jayden for this. Yes, he missed some passes that he shouldn't have missed. But it's going to happen over the course of the game, especially going to happen when it comes to your rookie fucking quarterback. He doesn't look like the worst, anywhere close to the worst of the rookie quarterbacks that I've seen this season, right? Mm-hmm. It's just no one else around him was doing what it is they needed to do to get the job done. Everybody had miscues in this game. You look at the wide receivers as far as the drops. Terry McLaurin, as much as the stats might look good at a certain point, he had his fuck-ups. You remember there was the one pass that he ran the curl. He catches it.
Oh,
then tries to
breaks the tackle. Yep. Instead of getting
all the way back
progress.
to the line of scrimmage, right? So if you're Terry, it's like, don't do that. Like, you know better.
Yeah. Go down. We get 6 yards instead of, we're
back at the line of scrimmage. And now you're behind the 8 ball again. So every time that they have something that might look positive, it'd be somebody did something stupid, or there's a penalty, or there's just something happening. But all right, we're in a second and long sort of situation. And then this is where you get into the Kliff Kingsbury. Okay, if he doesn't have B-Rob or B-Rob's not healthy, does he really trust anybody to run the inside the way they did some of these other guys? Does he want to do more of the perimeter game? Can he really do more of the perimeter game if the guys aren't blocking at the same that they used to when we had the guards and stuff pulling out, so that you get kind of limited in what you need to do? But I tell you, like, if I was Kliff looking at this game, it's like you should have been able to do some things in pass pro earlier on in the game to get Jayden more comfortable and to get there. I'm glad he got there. I'm just curious as to why it didn't happen earlier. I saw it more in the second half. Maybe he made those adjustments in the half. I don't know why it would take that long to do that. But the offensive line, everybody was fucking up.
Okay.
You had Biotish, he had the missed snap, the fucked up snap. That caused the fucking sack on Jayden. Allegretti versus Parsons it didn't fucking work out. There were just a lot of things that were going on in the game. It was like I could look at everyone in the offensive line and say, yep, you didn't do that right. You didn't do that right. You didn't do that right. Everybody had a moment. The wide receivers, everybody had a moment. The running backs, everybody had a moment. Like everybody had a moment where they just didn't do what they were supposed to be doing in the game. Everyone had it. That's the thing that was so frustrating to see. It's like, you're just fucking this up. Like you guys are just fucking it up. You're fucking it up.
So, KDot, I should have asked you before we started recording. Do you have the graphic I sent you on the first down, second down, Brian Robinson thing? If you don't, that's fine as well.
I do not have it loaded. No.
Okay. So just for the audience, I ended up going through, and maybe we'll show it to you next time, but going through the play-by-play basically, and it felt different, Kliff's play calling, when Brian Robinson's available to him and when he's not. And so charting that out, on first down, when Brian Robinson plays the game, he's just active, plays the game, we run the ball 71% of the time on first down. When he isn't active, that drops to 53%. That is an 18% drop. That is mind-boggling. It's crazy. Now, it's just the 3 games that he missed, but that's a huge, significant 1st and 10. That's just given to you the moment you step on the field. That's 1st and 10. Second down, when Brian Robinson plays, we run 54% of the time. And when he doesn't, 41% of the time. That's a 13% drop. So we're running more on second down with Brian Robinson than we are on first down without him. It's one of the crazier things. I was not expecting to see it to that degree. It was something that we maybe talked about with Kliff mentally, knowing who's available to him, who isn't, running inside the tackles. Brian Robinson's very, very good at that. it's merely an observation for you guys to also, digest and go, okay, maybe it is a little bit different when Brian Robinson's not available. The reason I bring that up, he got hurt in this game. He ended up coming back very briefly, but then, as can happen with an injury, the muscle tightens up. Okay, you can't continue. You do for a little bit with the adrenaline, but then you can't. We didn't have him available later on. So back to you, KDot.
So contextualizing what I've seen based on that, because you did send me that chart earlier this week, and I was I was thinking about that as I was watching the tape. It's just the other guys are not getting what Brian Robinson are getting done, and when they don't get it done, Kliff is not going to stay with it as long as he possibly would be with Brian Robinson to kind of get it figured out. There are too many no gains or negative plays when Ekeler or McNichols or anyone else is running the football. If you're on first down and it's they run the ball and now you're looking at 2nd and 10, he's like, well, that didn't fucking work for me. And because the screen passes and everything aren't working, which has usually been an extension of our run game earlier on in the season, when those aren't working, you can't get those situations where you put yourself in 2nd and short. It's just hard to do anything rhythmically. Like, in order to really establish a run and do it right, you've got to be in a rhythm to do it, right? In order to be able to do it and to have the play action kind of fit off of it. But every time that it's like, okay, those were 2 plays good in a row, there's a penalty and it completely wiped out any rhythm we have. Or there's a missed block and it completely wiped out any. Oh, here, Jayden just fucked that up. It's completely like it would constantly be stuff that you'd see that would just happen negatively. And it puts you in a situation where if I'm being completely honest, even if I was offensive coordinator, I'm like, I don't know if I run it on this down. I don't know if I run it on this down. Because it's like, if I saw what happened the first time, if I don't get it, it's going to be 3rd and long again, and they're going to pin their ears back and come get it. I need to get something, right? It's just, it's execution. They're just not executing, man.
Yeah. Is it a last question, then we'll move to the defense, of course, because we got plenty to get to as well. Thinking about it, is it that Brian Robinson, like the offensive line, is probably creating similar holes and Brian Robinson is just doing a much better job being able to hit that, versus maybe an Austin Ekeler or Jeremy McNichols?
Brian Robinson can absorb contact and still probably get you 2 to 3 yards positively. That's why he's always on the angry run chart, right? There are some things with Brian Robinson's vision in the second level that I'm like, all right, you could totally improve. And if you did, you'd probably be one of the real special backs in the league. And it's probably what's holding you back. Because there is this, I'm not going to call him like Trent Richardson or anything. He ain't that bad. He's not closing his eyes running into the fucking hole. But there is some second level stuff where it's like, oh man, if you were a little dicier and like avoided contact, maybe you could do this, that, and the other. But nobody else hits the hole with the same gusto that he does. And nobody else can take where somebody might not have done the best blocking situation and still turn some arm contact into, that's not a tackle for me, bro. You're going to need somebody else.
Yeah. And we'll get to Brian Robinson more in the injury report as well as we progress in the show. Any final thoughts here on the offense? I can quickly summarize and say execution problem primarily. We're talking about drops, wrong routes, maybe poor blocking on the screens, for example. Offensive line had a bad day against that Dallas defensive line, Micah Parsons on Allegretti and specifically. Any other thoughts there?
Yeah, it's just everything needs to be better. And the thing is, they did it. They did it at a certain point of the season. They're just not doing what they were doing. So, like, if you can figure out why, everything's solved. I'm leaning now more as we get into this part of the season that this is a reason a lot of these guys are journeymen. There's a reason a lot of these guys would probably be third stringers on other teams. That's what it is. We're doing so much better with this group. And look, if you can go in next year and eliminate some of these guys, keep a good core of them, you've got great depth across the board of this team for what it is they've shown that they can accomplish. But if you can just add some higher level talent, some guys with a higher ceiling to this team, Lord knows the floor, the base is solid. You just don't have enough special players.
Yeah. All right. Let's flip over to the defense, who started off, had the very first drive, Dallas was able to get there. It was the blocked field goal, but overall looked pretty good in the first half. And then the second half, maybe the wheels came off a little bit. KDot, what did you make of the defense?
Defense, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to shout out 2 people and I'm going to criticize 2 people. As far as giving credit, Mike Sanders still continues to play at an extremely high level. He is doing some great shit as a rookie, especially on a defense that isn't the best at any given point in time, but he is showing up and he's getting progressively better. He'll have every once in a while where it's like, all right, you're still a rookie, but it's just the motherfucker is getting there. Jeremy Chin, I feel like he's kind of. I feel like overall Chin has kind of been up here, but it's a little rocky. But he makes the thing is like if we're looking at the defense outside of Frankie Louvu, Chin's your next best playmaker. Chin can hit motherfuckers hard as hell. He's right. He loves the physical contact. He loves stuff like that. As long as he's getting the right angles, motherfucker can play. I like a lot of what I'm seeing from Jeremy Chin. Criticisms. St. Juice is not ish. This is where I talk about
rough
it's like
day, man. Rough day.
St. Juice is just he's not like man. When the fuck is Lattimore playing? that's what I'm getting down to. Because once again, like I say, if they just had an influx of guys with higher ceilings, then the deficiencies of the guys that we're relying on to make the plays won't be as bad. You don't have to trail you don't have to be with the top guy. But yeah, when Lattimore gets in, it's going to be a very interesting conversation as far as what they do with the second cornerback spot. Because right now, I'd absolutely say the Sanders still is outplaying everybody.
Well, actually, to echo exactly what you're saying, Joe Witt was asked about the corners and the play, and the playing time. And they'd noticed basically that Michael Davis and Benjamin St. Juice have been rotating a bit more. So every 2 possessions, they end up swapping. And on that note, he had referenced Mike Sanderstill's play being so good that he wants him on the field more. Yeah. So based on what you're saying, and based on what Joe Witt is saying, it sounds like when Marshawn Lattimore is available to us, it will be Lattimore and Sanderstill on the outsides. And then maybe it's Noah on the inside. We'll see about all that. But that, to your point, KDot, is being echoed by our defensive coordinator.
You can already see he might have the highest IQ of anybody on the defensive back.
I buy that 100%.
Like there is just this football. There was a hitch route to CD, and he played it fucking perfectly. And it got contact at the right fucking time, led to a 3rd and 9. Like that kind of shit is like, yeah, Sanders still is playing. And I think that it's like, it seems as though he's being a sponge and he's learning. And that's probably why Witt knows guys. I didn't see the Witt interview, but that's probably why those guys like him, is that it seems as though if you're teaching him shit, he's not one to constantly make the same mistakes. Every once in a while, it's just like, yeah, tough beat. Guy was just better than you. And every once in a while, it's like, all right, you could have used leverage a little bit better there. Like you need to do, like, that's just some technique shit. Like you can get it down. You can get it figured out. So yeah, shout out to him. But outside of Benjamin St. Juice, which is just like, that was fucking rough and just mistake after mistake. I got to give shit to Daron Payne. I understand that we've been trying to say how it is that like the defensive line, what they've been doing more often is clogging to make more plays as far as the linebackers go. Mm-hmm. They're not doing enough. There's not nearly as much push that they're getting in the interior of the line that they need to. His pass rushing has not been great from what I'm seeing in the All-22, especially in this game. I need more from you, dude. There are certain points where Newton just looks like he's a more gifted athlete than he is. And the thing is, like, I've seen Payne play. I've watched enough of Payne's tape to just know he's not playing at the same level that he typically plays in. I don't think it's just, hey, you need to go clog this area to make the linebackers work. It's like, no, you need to go beat that motherfucker and let Louvu or Wagner like eat. Like beat him one-on-one, like knock his ass to the ground. And I just don't see enough of that. Like you'd expect a guy of that magnitude to have these at least 1 or 2 moments in a game where you're just like, well, fuck yeah. That's why you're getting paid those big bucks. I just don't see it. I constantly look at this defensive line. I'm just like, there's nobody special here. Maybe Newton will get there. I'm hopeful Newton will get there, but nobody else is special. We're getting production from guys like Dante. We're getting production from some of the DNs. Sacks happen. Somebody's got to have them. I don't think it's like they're just outright beating motherfuckers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not great. I love Johnny Newton. I know you love Johnny Newton too. And we believe in the talent. And part of the thinking was he could also help push Payne, Allen, who's now out for the year. Question for you on prior All-22s, have you seen or been more impressed by Newton relative to Daron Payne? Or has it been like, oh, okay, no, Payne's been good, and it's just this game where maybe Newton was slightly better?
Newton shows flashes of physical gifts and talent that you're like, okay. He does do a lot of things where it's like, that wasn't the right choice. Like you didn't do that right. You didn't that probably I think you're calling for a stunt. You're not getting to where you need to be fast enough. Or would you stop playing fucking pitter pat with the fucking hands and just fucking do something else? Like there's every once in a while where he's just like, all right, he's still got a lot to learn, but the physical tools are there. It reminds me a lot of Brandon Coleman on the offense, which is like, if you watch enough of the game, you're like, clearly this dude's got more talent than everybody else here.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not consistent at all. Like he's just not, like he shows flashes, but so I'd say that like Deron Payne is here. It's not enough, but pretty constant. Newton has these moments where he like blips up, but mostly like if I was looking at overall, it's still probably below Payne overall, but he has these moments to just look better than Payne.
Okay. Any final thoughts on the defense before we flip over to the game preview?
Notice I only named like 4 guys. The rest of the defense, I'm fairly impressed with. I still like what the linebackers are doing. I still like what some of the secondaries doing. I like what some of the safeties are doing. They still get in the wrong position at certain points in time. And what you need to have happen when it comes to this defense is that we just can't rely on the front 4 just getting the job done without there being help from somebody else. And that is something that across this league, especially when you look at like teams that we've struggled against, those are the ones that get the job done on defense, the ones that could say, we don't need to blitz. The front 4 can generate enough pressure. The front 4 can take care of this, that we can leave certain guys in coverage and maybe make up for some deficiencies here and there. They're just not doing that. The front 4 is just not coming with enough talent that they can take care of it on their own. And that to me is going to be the thing that I circle probably more than any other thing. Knowing that we're going to have a lot more come and play. I don't know what we're going to do defensive line wise going forward.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a big question mark. We go against a Tennessee Titans team that has maybe some more questions on the offensive line, but we'll talk about that just now. And this was the All-22 review with KDot. On to the preview against the Tennessee Titans. And thank you as always for the All-22 review, and thanks for answering those questions too. Appreciate that over there, KDot. And now we go to main event over here, which is the preview against the Tennessee Titans. Once again, they're 3-8 on the season. So you go, oh man, bad team. We just saw one in the Dallas Cowboys over here. And this time, Tennessee is not riding a 5-game losing streak. Actually got a bit of momentum. They just went to Houston and beat a pretty good Texans team that has a lot of expectations. Some have Super Bowl expectations on them this year on the road. So we'll see what happens. And we're here to tell you what we think will happen. And we got to begin with the context for the game, which is the injury report on both sides of it. So beginning with us, and first and foremost, not listed, Austin Seibert was placed on IR. So he will not be kicking for at least 4 games. I believe Dan Quinn had mentioned it was a groin injury this time around. I'm not fully certain. I believe that's what it was. I would assume Zayvon Gonzalez just back in there. He will be kicking. Then we've got Austin Ekeler in the concussion protocol, not practicing. Don't expect him back this week. Certainly a question as to whether he plays again this season, because this is his 2nd concussion, and it was a pretty bad one at the end of that against the Cowboys. Ertz, he's going to play. We got a number of people, limited participants over here. Cleveland Farrell, Andrew Wiley, Marshawn Lattimore. Is he going to play? Currently a question mark. We certainly hope he does. We got to buy after this, so maybe they choose to just rest him and be cautious. We'll see about him. Brian Robinson, limited. We talked about his impact on the offense and how Kliff feels when calling an offense with him there. He's been limited those 2 days. And then the only other one to pay attention to is Noah Brown, who went from fully practicing to not practicing. And so we're going to go ahead and monitor his status. That's the Commanders side of things. And now we go over to the Titans side of things. You got Luke Gifford not practicing. Everybody else, there were a bunch of people that didn't practice yesterday. Leroy Watson being the other that also didn't practice on Thursday. And then they all just came back. So, I mean, it seems like these are the 2 names, Luke Gifford and Leroy Watson. Hey, listen, a win's a win. Don't care how it happens. I would have loved if Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry were not practicing on Wednesday because of actual injury and rest. Those 2 have been great for them this season. Roger McCreary, same thing. they've got some nice guys on defense. And Chidobe Awuzie, I don't recall. It says limited. Maybe he plays. I thought I read something else about him.
He just got activated off the IR.
That's okay. That's what I read then. Thank you. Appreciate that. Activated off of IR. Originally a starting corner. He's been missing some time. And then Amani Hooker's been great. We'll talk about him. He's a full participant. He missed the last game. He missed the game against the Texans. He's been a game breaker for them on defense. And that's the Titans side of the ball. So let's go ahead and begin, as we always do, with Jayden Daniels, Kliff Kingsbury, and this Commanders offense against the Tennessee Titans defense. So, KDot, I just did a whole lot of talking. I'm going to throw it to you. How would you attack this pretty good Tennessee Titans defense?
Well, I'm not going to scream run the ball this time because I don't think it'll have the same effect that it would. Yeah. They're really good at stopping it. Like, you even see would Mixon, I think, average like under 2 yards a carry last
14 carries, 22 yards.
Yeah, that's rough, guys. And then also, like, we talk about Brian Robinson. Is he playing?
I don't know.
Right. It feels like one of those. It feels like it has been the last few weeks where it's like, oh, it's a game time decision. He feels like he's going to play, and then he's not playing. Mm-hmm. And look, when it comes to this team and especially their front four, when you clearly, like, especially say, I mean, how many guys saw the front four? Although, as I was just saying in the All-22, this is a defense they can take care of shit with the front four. Just let you know, they can do that. You might overlook Tennessee Titans, but that defense has been serious all fucking year. There's no sleeping on that fucking defense. And the guy who makes everything kind of happen is Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons up front. You can't run to him. If our Commanders' offensive line is going to play like they played the last few games, I don't see a lot of success happening with the inside runs. That does not mean you stop going to it. Of course, I want to be able to keep them honest to a certain degree, right? But if you got a Brian Robinson not playing, you got an Ekeler in the concussion protocol, we roll into this thing with me, Nichols and Chris Rodriguez. So what do you do? Throw the ball. This is what it comes down to. Look, there are some things that I'd like to see Kliff Kingsbury do that I haven't seen him do recently, I think just because of the lack of execution and stuff, and also them just trying to establish something. But I need to see certain aspects of certain wrinkles in the offense that I think they were getting to, but they've kind of gotten away from just because maybe he doesn't think they've prepared or they're ready for it. But I need to see more emotions. I need to see some stuff to keep these guys honest as far from an east to west standpoint, so they don't know exactly what's coming to them. I think unpredictability's got to be the name of the game here with this one. Unpredictability and the quick passing game. This is your opportunity to sort of hit these slants, to hit these quick games. I don't know if you're going to execute the screens the way you guys need to, so I'm not relying on that. But there's still so much stuff that you can do as far as the short, quick, as I was saying in the last episode, boom, bap, get rid of the fucking ball, and let's get in the fucking rhythm, right? Like, that to me is where it is you could possibly have success. This Tennessee Titans team is a team that has been thrown on. Like, it's not that they're bad at it. They can still get there and they can get pressure, but you can throw on them more than you can run on them. And I think what we've been seeing for Jayden Daniels even last week and a few weeks before is, like, once they get into a rhythm, once they start doing things the right way, once they get some running backs starting to chip out and help the offensive lineman a bit, we can move the ball. It's just a matter of, like, all right, what are you hitting and what are you taking? This has got to be one of these games where it's like, I don't like doing it, but rookie, it's up to you. Like, it's up to you for the most part. And here's the rest of the team. If you guys play with the lack of execution that you've been playing the last few weeks, it's going to be a long day against these Titans as far as what it is the defense could do to us. All right, keys the game. Mix up the running game, motions. Let's throw some reverses and shit in there. I'm cool with it. RPO stuff. We can do some stuff. Mix it up. Don't make it look vanilla. And then beyond that, quick boom bat. Get Terry involved early. Get him involved early. Short, quick game. Just get the ball in his hands. Also, this might be one of those games where, like, I'd like to see one of the rookies. I know that you were working on a chart where you were looking at what the progression of the rookie snap counts have looked like, and they haven't been trending in the right direction that I want to see.
Nope. KDot's seen them. Yeah.
Look, McCaffrey's still a dude that I'm saying that, like, there are some things as far as from a blocking standpoint and everything, he doesn't necessarily do as well as some other guys, but I mean, the dude gets open, and I just want to see them take some opportunities to take shots at him. Ben Sinnott, we just need somebody that Jayden can trust with the football to make some magic fucking happen once he gets the ball in his hands. I think right now you'd look at the most dynamic player outside of Terry McLaurin and Ekeler will probably be De'Ami Brown just because from a speed standpoint. But they've been trying to do more of De'Ami Brown as far as the screen games. He might have one good run as far as Yak goes, as far as the screen games a game. But beyond that, he's sort of a non-factor. We just need somebody else to step up. Noah Brown, one of these dudes. And then when I think about that, when I think about the names that I'm saying as far as stepping up, yeah, not great. Not a great list of names. Like, it's just not. Once again, I don't have any regrets as far as what the wide receiver room looks like, because I did want to see where these guys were at and maybe somebody would come and take off. But I just think that if they're executing a higher clip, if they're doing things better and more consistently, I think that'll allow Kliff Kingsbury to get more comfortable what it is that he can see as far as the floor from them, and maybe introduce to try some new things and maybe feel more comfortable giving them more things to do. Also,
go ahead.
You have to mention the keys. As you can see, there are some options that we can have. Like I said, running outside, not inside, is going to be a key here for this. And you can also see the quarterback scrambles thing. We have some opportunities to get some shit done. It's just Jayden's got to take care of the football, and we've got to help the rookie out.
Yeah. So I am actually going to say that as good as the Tennessee Titans are at run stopping, I would prefer that to run. And the reason I'm saying that is because, well, twofold. One, the Titans pass defense is it's a very, very intriguing case. They're actually number one in terms of yards allowed in the NFL against the pass. So there's that. They're very good, and they have rotating pieces at times, but they're excellent at it. At the same time, they give up a passer rating around 94. So it's just like, okay, but they don't turn you over necessarily, and they do give you opportunities to throw. And so I understand that. Where I'm concerned, KDot, is if the screen game isn't working, and let's say it continues not to against a pretty good Titans pass defense in terms of yards allowed, well, I need to sustain drives. That is what I'm thinking if I'm Kliff Kingsbury. I need to sustain drives. Here's why. We've talked about time of possession. In our last 3 games now it's 3 games long, 25 minutes per game we have the ball. That's second worst in that time span in the NFL. You lose games when you lose time of possession. So for me, it is running. It's, hey, if it's only McNichols and Rodriguez, I can figure it out, man. I mean, you just have to. And Jayden as a runner, this may be a game where the Titans are not good against running quarterbacks. Like, this is an opportunity, even from a yards per carry standpoint. You can run on them as a QB. So Jayden, if you see opportunities to run, this is the game. Instinctually, go. We just need to sustain some drives, because on the other side of the ball, I do have faith in our defense to be able to do some stuff, but we need to sustain drives first and foremost so that we can allow the defense to rest some, so that we can get a rhythm, so that it can help us execute through that. So I would say, hey, run, and I'm praying for Brian Robinson's availability. And like, hey, thank you so much. We got a bye week next week. We're going to use you. Like, we are going to use you all day, and we will take over from there. We need this win badly, KDot. So that's where I'm at. They're number one against the pass, but they don't turn you over, so you can still get stuff. So long as it's sustainable for drives, I'm with it. I have my doubts, considering the talent gap that we've talked about.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. I want to scream around the football in them like every fucking week because of what it allows the defense to do, what it allows us to do as far as that time possession game, what it allows us to. The best teams run the ball well. Okay, that's I want to be that. And once again, you know how much I care about our identity. I want that to be it. I just don't think it's gonna work here. So like it's. But you're right. Jayden Daniels is going to have some opportunities to run the fucking football. Whether or not he's going to take care of the football, protect himself in this game, going to be very important to see. But it's going to be a good test for him. It's everybody else, really, man. Execution. I think I said it right every time I said it.
Yeah.
They just have to execute. You can run with some success, I guess, or try to keep it honest. But if you're running for no gain or -2 yards, and then on top of that, you're dropping the fucking football or you're getting some penalties going, then I'm sorry, you're seeing exactly what you've seen from this team the last how many weeks now? So, like, I want to see them run the football, but what do we do against Dallas?
Actually, as I hear you say that, because I do think you bring up a good point, I want to see Kliff commit to it. Even if it doesn't go well early on, I want to see him commit to it. Because here's the other thing, and you had mentioned Jeffrey Simmons, elite run stopper, by the way. I think he's 8th in the NFL in run stop or run stuff win rate. He's great. They also have Sebastian Joseph Day, who's very, very good and able to get in. He's got 2.5 sacks this season. They've got good edge rushers as well. Harold Landry, one of them, he's got 6 sacks on the season. And Arden Key, another one with 5. It doesn't mention Tavondre Sweat, who's another nose. Like, they are very, very good up front. So I know you probably haven't heard a lot about the Titans guys, but these guys are very, very good up front. Also want to shout out Amani Hooker, who is, they have 5 interceptions on the season. He has 3 of them. He's also forced 2 fumbles. So he's opportunistic. So just a guy to look out for on the back end, 37. Just on the back end, you got to look out for the guy. This is going to be a tough matchup. I think you can tell from the way KDot and I are speaking about this. This side of the ball, and I would love Jayden. It's going to be a tough game. I think he's going to have to use his legs a lot in this type of game, because I'm not sure how the offensive line is going to hold up against these guys.
I mean, I think it's going to, once again, if I'm attacking this, I'm saying I just need more quick passes.
Yeah, quick passing. It's either quick passing or running. Both would sustain.
I'm specifically saying quick passing this time.
Okay.
I
would prefer.
I love running the ball. Yeah. I love running the ball. But I'm all about, I need the quick passing game. I need them to get the ball in these receivers' hands. But I also need the receivers to be executing at a higher level, right? Terry, I could trust, I could believe in, as long as you don't choose to try to break tackles unnecessarily, Terry. Good. I need to see Luke McCaffrey in the short game. There are some times where it doesn't seem like he gets off the line with the same quickness he may need to. So maybe there's not enough separation for Jayden to trust the throw when it comes to Luke. But I need to see them try to take some shit. There's some stuff that they're doing schematically and get guys open at least immediately. And then it's up to Jayden to say, hey, I know I want the home run, but I don't need to hold the football on for too long because, hey, we're not running the football not nearly as much as we probably want to, but there's 4 yards right there. There's a 4 yards in that pass right there. I need to take it. You know why? Because 4 yards is better than a sack. 4 yards is better than an incompletion. Get the fucking 4 yards. Take what the defense gives you. You is so amazing with that early on in the season. And I wanted to see you take more of those shots. But right now, we've skewed the other way, Jayden, and you've got to understand this. Do you trust your offensive line the way you trust them in week 4? No, you don't, right? So you can't hold on the ball as long as you want to. You just can't do it. And I know you think you're fast, man. And you are. I saw you looking out at one point. You're fast as fuck. But here's what you're not going to be able to do that all fucking game. You just can't. Throw the ball. If somebody's open, get it done, especially if it's early on downs. You just need positive yardage. Get the positive play. You know why else, Jayden? Because I know you want to be Superman on 3rd down, which we need you to convert. And guess what? 3rd and 4 is a lot easier to run for a first down than 3rd and 10, Jayden. Just take what the defense is giving you. They're there. It's there. Do it. Just do it.
Yep. And also, you mentioned execution in the All-22 against the Cowboys. With the drops and some wrong routes, we need that cleaned up. I mean, we need that cleaned up. So that's, this side of the ball is a tough one. It will be awesome if Jayden ends up looking very, very good against this type of defense. Go ahead.
I just yelled at Jayden. It does not have the hell I have wrath for the rest of the offense. He's a rookie. Fuckers, he's the one, he's the chosen one, right? I know he's not supposed to be a savior, but we all love Jayden. Help him the fuck out. Help him out. Execute. Yep.
Please.
I know. You're on your fourth fucking team. You got cut last year. I don't give a fuck. Execute. You did it earlier on the season. Whatever mind frame you need to be in for what it is at the beginning of the season now, do it. He's a rookie. He's not going to hit all the passes. He's going to make some mistakes. Bail him out. Right now, you guys are leaving him alone to save us. We don't want that. That's not the key of this season. Let him progress. You have to pull your own weight. All of you.
Yeah. On to the other side of the ball. On to the other side of the ball, where we have a Commanders defense in what I feel is a good matchup against the Tennessee Titans offense. So, yeah, we talked about that. And, yes, the Titans have a good unit. They also have a questionable unit that's been doing all right recently. So it must be said that they've been doing all right recently, but it's still the questionable one of the two over here. KDot, on this side, how are you attacking the Tennessee Titans offense?
Their tackles kind of suck.
They're horrible.
What is it? J.C. Latham, who I liked.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Petit-Frere. They have allowed 19 sacks this season. This is one of these, look, you're going to have to attack the edges. You're going to have to get Will Levis, and you got to attack the edges. There's one thing that Will Levis is pretty bad at. Is if he's got to extend the play, if he's got to hold on the football a little longer, he's going to get hit or he's going to throw a fucking pick, right? You try to, so how do you do that? Defensive backs, you got to play soundly, okay? You got to play soundly. There's going to be some times where it's up to you to get some shit done because we're going to want to come after Will Levis, especially on the edges. And if we're going to want to generate pressure that way, you guys are going to have to take care of your fucking matchups. Calvin Ridley's coming after you, okay? He's coming after you. What's the other kid's name? Westbrook, whatever the fuck?
Westbrook Akine, who's been scoring nonstop.
They will beat you. So St. Juice, Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah, Marshawn, get your shit together, son.
Play. Just play. Please
play. Please play. I can understand if he doesn't because they want to have him to go into the bye or whatever. I don't fucking know. But
he should play.
I'd really like him to play. This is going to be one of those games where, look, I know a lot of people want to shit on him, especially after what we saw last year when it came to Dallas. But Tony Pollard's a good running back. I think he's a little underrated. I just didn't like what it is that Dallas was using with him. And Tajay Spears, who was in the concussion protocol, is now out, and he's a nice change of pace guy and a really good receiving back. Those two running backs will cause you fucking fits if you're not doing what you're supposed to do as far as the run defense. We're not going to put a bunch of stuff for the run defense. We can't do that because Will Levis is going to eat you up with those fucking receivers. So what that means is that, guys, you need to take care of fucking business without the extra help. Take care of your responsibilities, play sound fucking defense, and do not let Tony Pollard turn a 4-yard carry into a 20-yard carry or Tajay Pierce turn a 2-yard reception or a 50-yard reception. You have to play you got to play sound defense. This is going to be one of those things where it's you're baiting Will Levis into fucking this up.
Yeah.
But you cannot let them start getting Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears fucking started where they're just bleeding out the clock and then basically stealing Amit's game plan for themselves. Okay. You can't do that. Don't let them do that.
Yeah,
but this should look Armstrong, all those dudes. I've been saying you're not that special. This is your opportunity to show you special. Beat them.
It'd be great. They are 31st in composite pass protection rankings, so you want to get them in obvious pass situations. In order to do that, stop the fucking run. Just stop them. Because like KDot said, Tony Pollard is good. I mean, is he one of these elite backs? No, but if you look at what Dallas has done outside of what they did last week to us and across their season, they do miss Tony Pollard, and he's had a nice season so far. I have the numbers over here. I mean, just last week, he ended up doing pretty well, I want to say. He's got, there it is, 24 carries, 119 yards, and a touchdown against Houston. And Houston wanted to make the Titans throw the ball, and he was still able to do that. He has another game, 28 carries, 128 yards against the Patriots. The guy can break a game open. So you need to make sure you can stop him. Excellent point on Tajay Spears over there, KDot, that he is good out of the backfield as a quick little outlet for Will Levis, who to his credit, has also been playing pretty well recently. 2 of his last 3 games, when he got back into the lineup, passer rating over 120. Over 120. So is he turning it around? Maybe. But in Will Levis is full Levis mode, which is a boneheaded decision that can flip the game. Ask the Chicago Bears. It can happen. Ask the New York Jets. It can happen. That's what you need to get to. As many Will Levis opportunities as possible. Allow a turnover to occur to help you out. Because on the other side of the ball, as we mentioned, it could be a struggle. So on this side, defense, it's more likely that you're going to have to be the unit that wins this game for us. And it starts by stopping Tony Pollard, stopping Tyjae Spears, and having Will Levis try and beat you over the top. Maybe have an errant throw. Go from there.
Yeah, man. I'm a Levis guy.
I know you are.
I'm a bit of a Levis guy.
Great arm talent. Give you that.
It's the same way that, like, look, if it wasn't for the fact that I heard him use his name in third person, I'm a Bo Nix guy. I just didn't like that. Like, I liked everything else.
Still don't think you should be a Bo Nix guy just yet, but I will admit right now he's playing great.
Oh, no. Once again, Bo Nix is not because I think he's a great quarterback. It's because he's chaos incarnate. Like,
that's true. That's true. You do love that.
He's like Jameis Winston. Who doesn't want to see Winston play? Like, who doesn't want that, right? Like, I want him in the game. Why? Because we all watch football. If it's not your team playing, you're watching for entertainment's sake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or betting, both, whatever. So, like, I want to see entertaining things. And Levis being on the field, and Bo Nix being, they make things entertaining. And I tell you right now, motherfuckers, if y'all don't play sound defense, he will carve you the fuck up. It's going to look stupid. It's going to look like some random shit. It's going to be one of those things where you got people, you want to throw shit at your TV because it's going to be dumb shit. Play sound. He will take advantage of some stuff. There's going to be some fucking weird shit. They got playmakers. They're not great. They can eat this defense up if I've seen what I've seen from this defense, boy. Like, they can do it. And if Tony Pollard ended up having one of those fucking games, look, I'm trying to keep it medium, but your boy ain't going to be happy in the postgame. He is not going to be happy in the postgame. But you got opportunities. Like, even the keys, that's good, right?
Yes.
All in a fucking favor. It's good.
This is where we need to win. This is where we need to win the game. And that takes us over to our predictions. Also got to shout out Calvin Ridley, though. He has been great since week 6. I think he maybe leads the league in receiving yards since then. And Westbrook Akine scored in 6 of his last 7 games. So just some shout outs to some of the other guys there, too. Ridley in particular, who initially was off to such a slow start. You're like, oh, man, what a terrible signing. Well, now it's starting to work for them a little bit. Oh, I like this. This looks great. All right, so we're both 7-5 on the season. Commanders 7-5 on the season. Titans 3-8 on the season. And we are 6.5-point favorites at home. I know you heard the way we talked about it. It's just out of concern. 3-game losing streak. We want to break that thing. Over under 44.5. KDot from you. I need a score. I need a winner. And I need a player of the game.
I can see this game going a few ways. One is they could blow us out. I actually think that's a possibility.
I think that's possible too.
Washington, I watch your All-22 and I just see it like a light switch. Can you just execute? Like if you guys made half less of the mistakes you made, we win walking away. Like it's just can you get past that point? Can you just not make the mistakes? I'm choosing to have faith just because I see the All-22. I see how hard you guys play. Effort's not an issue with this team. I'm rooting for them. I don't feel confident, but I think we can get this done. I'm going 23-16, Washington. I think this could be just an ugly game. I think this is one of those games where you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't wait to turn on some other football.
Okay. 23-16, Washington player of the game.
We're not allowed to go. Are we allowed to go Jayden if we think it'd be the rushing attack?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
So I'm going Jayden because I think he's going to scram. I think he'll have. If B-Rob can't go, even if B-Rob can go, I still think our leading runner is probably going to be Jayden Daniels in this game. And I think that's what propels us just a little over the top. Him extending the drives a lot. So hopefully some third down conversions and a scramble touchdown or two. I'd like that.
Okay. 23-16 Washington. That hits the under. And Jayden player of the game. Okay, I am going to go ahead and say I would love for this to say that you're 8-5 and that I am 7-6 because as I break this game down, as I assess the vibes, and as I assess where we began this season, right, in the expectations and the culture setting, I'm very nervous about this game. I would be pleasantly surprised if we won. So I actually have Tennessee winning. It hurts to even say. But I have Tennessee winning, and it's sort of like a, I don't know, 20-16. Like it's a lower scoring, but that time of possession thing concerns me. The defensive line for Tennessee concerns me. I've seen what we look like when we go against good defensive lines. It's not good. So can the defense win the game? I'm not sure. I believe in Tennessee's vibes right now. I believe Jayden can win this game on his own. I think the world of Jayden Daniels, as you know. It's just, if we're not executing, man, prove it to me. I would give me an L. I'd gladly sacrifice an L and Samigo there just so that we can be 8-5. I would love that. So 20-16 is what I'll say final. And player of the game, Tony Pollard. I don't know that we're going to stop him. I hope so. I'm just not sure. So
no, I think you're making the logical choice. I think that I never like doing that when it comes to making picks, but I will admit that there's some hope. There's some hope in there that I'm kind of rocking with. I don't like using hope, but I'm using at least a little bit of hope. The All-22, man, it's just they're right there. They're right there.
I think hearing you actually almost helped inform. Like I was already sort of leaning Tennessee just on the vibes and everything I'm sort of hearing about, and then hearing you talk about it, I'm like, well, okay, that's leaning right into what Tennessee does well. Yeah. So that's, I want to be wrong. Feel free to hate on me in the comments if you want to, but I want to be wrong, just to be clear.
I used to do a podcast, or everybody knows I did a podcast, ASOS, and you remember Keem from ASOS.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were talking about the rest of the season, and he was like, I don't see you guys winning more than like 2 more games. And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you say that? He's like, dude, the vibes aren't, I think you guys are trending downward, and there's some tough games for you guys down the stretch. And you're going to lose one of those against Dallas. I'm like, I just think you're underrating us. And now I am so afraid to open that text thread. It shit feels as though he predicted it correctly. Like it's just, yeah, the wheels are kind of falling off a bit. It's
to be clear, I'm not abandoning hope on the season.
No, I think
we're in a bad spot. We get to the bye. You get 2 weeks to sort it out. I would much rather sort it out at 8-5 than 7-6. Yeah. But we do have the bye week coming. I'm very excited for that bye week, honestly. Just for this team. There are a number of things that are coming out about having the late bye being as annoying as it is. And I think it might be showing as well. All right. Well, we go over to bet of the week. KDot, what do you have for us this week?
I don't feel good about anything, really. If I'm going to lean anywhere, I don't have a bet of the week, but I tell you guys, like, if you're going to put anything together, I'm leaning towards Jayden rushing yards or Jayden anytime touchdown. I think those two would be kind of where I'm looking at. So I'd look at the odds as far as that. If you're going to pull the trigger on anything, pull the trigger on that. B-Rob, way too up in the air. I don't even know if they got his fucking lines available because we don't know if he's going to be playing. There's too much inconsistency with the rest of the team. And once again, even if we disagree as far as even the outcome, I think Ahmed's probably more right than I am on this. This feels like a game that you just shouldn't necessarily bet on.
Yeah, it's a scary one. I mean, the one I would bet on is probably the under. Just like I don't see any sort of. I would rather lose money on the under and us have an offensive explosion. But like KDot said, Tennessee could also maybe. I don't see Tennessee actually having an offensive explosion on us. Just to be clear, I don't see it. So I think if there were to be one, I think it is us because we do execute, we do flip the switch like KDot's talking about. And this should be comfortable, but need to see it first. So I would rather lose money on the under or just make the money than just pray that we grind out a dub.
So I tell you, my game flow to get me to that 23-16 victory is we start hot. Like, the only way I think that we get this game is, like, we got to have them throwing the ball. Because here's what I know. Here's what I know is going to happen. They're going to score in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Like, that to me is now a foregone conclusion. So if you have them in the game, if this is like a 14-14 game going in the fourth quarter, I spot them 2 TDs in the fourth quarter. I literally will at this point. I think it's once again, I think it's a foregone conclusion. So what I'd like to see is one of these games where, like, we're leading going into the half. We're leading this fucking game. Maybe Kliff doesn't know exactly what to do because you can't run out the clock because you can't run it necessarily. And then they're just kind of in it. But it's a scary one, man. It sucks because we looked at these 2 games, Dallas and this one is like, oh, these are gimmies. And no.
Not so much. It turns out we're going to have to grind out a dub in this one, and let's hope we do. And so now we go over to the comment mailbag, and it, of course, features an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. We begin with a couple comments from the preview episode against the Dallas Cowboys, and then we go to the recap. Beginning with K-Man60. Shout out, Zab. Late to see your response, but you are wrong. I actually think there is no need for the ball to be kicked or punted ever. They could remove these plays and players from the league, and it would be better for it. Why can't you just throw the ball through the upright / bomb it as a punt? Get rid of kickers and punters. No big kicker energy here. I'm a soccer player at heart. That's Zab for you. KDot, your reaction?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. What I ended up doing, so I did read that comment because I was looking at the old video to try to figure something out, and I saw the comment there. So what I did was I went back into the archives to Dish Divided. For one, we had a lot more hosts on the show. And I had my hot take was eliminating kicking from football because it's stupid. It's stupid. And actually, before Zap or whoever, Caveman, whatever the fuck he calls himself, before he dropped the comment, I was talking with Brennan about this as well. And we were coming with alternatives as far as what it is we could do. And I love the idea of almost like an NFL skills short challenge thing. If they just had like some post little circles and like at any given point in time, you could have a quarterback like throw through that for 3 points. Like just throw it for 3 points. You know, it's more football than kicking the ball, which makes no goddamn sense. Might as well just play chess for 3 points because it doesn't fit anything else we're doing in football. And I give everybody, I understand this. There's no getting around. Some of the most exciting things to have ever happened in the game of football have been kicks, but only because we allow them to happen, which they shouldn't.
So Crazy Catch Pod replies to that comment saying, I disagree. Kickoffs and punt returns are some of the best plays to watch in the NFL. I'm now going to read one more comment from Crazy Catch Pod, and maybe that'll help explain why that take exists. Cowboys won. And as a Cowboys fan, I am a little surprised, to be honest, but I'm not mad about it. So the account that supports Cavante Turbin wants to keep the special teams plays. Makes sense to me, KDot. Your reaction to that one.
Yeah, and Brandon Aubrey, who didn't have the best game, but is a hell of a kicker. Yeah, I get why he'd want to fucking keep that thing going. I fundamentally disagree. I just don't think it fits the rest of the game of football. I understand way back when they didn't throw the football. When Sammy Ball, who still has the punt record average, I think.
Is that right?
I do think he still has the punt average record. Back when they couldn't throw it all that well, like kicking was a big part of it. It's not like the game is anymore. I get it's exciting, but it's exciting because of the chaos nature of it. It's not exciting because it's the game of football. It's exciting because it's just this chaotic thing that we've added to the game. I actually think what I'd love more than anything, you know what's more entertaining than kicking the ball? How about each team has an MMA fighter that fights for something, that fight for 3 points in the fucking half in the yard line. It makes just as much sense as kicking, and it'd be more exciting than that.
I think you just run into an existential crisis if you get rid of kickers and punters, because then the sport name probably has to change. The sport name probably.
No, it doesn't.
There's no foot.
You run. You use your feet.
You run. I love that. We go over to Vindo. Now on to our recap video against the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out Vindo OG. At 4750, hard shit. He writes pause. So I think at one point we probably both paused when talking about hard shit with good people. If you remember that, we were talking about that. We were like, well, what was the saying? Hard shit, and then literally paused. And so I think that's what that was. KDot.
I can tell you, my shit was not hard yesterday.
All right, we go over to game at 60 again. Shout out. That spin move was straight out of Madden. The type of shit that shouldn't work in real life. Also, missing a PAT is inexcusable. I could hit that shit blindfolded. I actually do believe Zab when he says that. Did kick at Georgetown. Got to shout out the credentials over there. He's got a cannon for a leg. So I think he would have. I actually agree.
I disagree. I've been around him and his people to know they love to think they can do things that professional athletes can do.
Well, that's point taken. However, I have seen him kick a ball. 33 would not be a problem.
I went to at least 2 games at Georgetown. I've seen him play. I know he can kick. I just think, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't know, because I don't really respect it. But then there's like an element of like, okay, if this thing is supposed to be so easy, why do they constantly fuck it up so much? I want to think it's easy.
Soccer players have that question all the time.
It should be the 32 best guys to do this specific thing in the world. And not to even mention, they don't even have them do punting and field goal kicking because that's too different. That should not be allowed. Like, I don't think that should be allowed. I
just get the one kicker, whoever it is.
Kicker. Fuck you. You get the. Oh no, I can kick that way. I can't kick that way. Fuck off, man. Learn 2 things.
I'll send that. I'm gonna send that to McAfee. We go over to Brendan Nichols. Shout out.
Oh fucking God.
KDot, does JJ McCarthy play special teams? Nothing to do with interviewing well. Just JJ McCarthy play special teams.
Eat a dick. I just got an alert on my phone because special teams and anything that like incompetence. Matt Eberflus just got fired.
Oh, he did. All right. Well,
the Bears.
Oh man. Okay. After the pod, we should talk about that. Okay. So we'll do it very quick after the pod because we're already at 1:07, but we should talk about that because that was an intriguing setup. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We go over to B Wheeler for 6416. Shout out. Great show, gentlemen. As always, really proud of you guys. Shout out to KDot. Definitely remember you for the 1 year I went to Wilson in my 9th grade year. Okay.
No shit.
So we got that. I'm going to read the next one. I'll let you react to both, KDot. B Wheeler goes. The blame can be equally distributed to special teams, receiver drops, and coaching. Special teams really had an overall bad game, but the 4th quarter was absolutely abysmal. Coaching has been a concern for a few weeks with bad offensive calls, questionable decisions, and 8 total penalties. However, what has been consistently bad throughout the season is drops by receivers. A few more catches and 3rd down conversions would have helped us not rely on special teams and miracles. Throughout the season, Jayden's touchdown total and completion percentage should be higher, but the receivers have let him down even in our wins. Jayden had some missed throws and opportunities as well, but it seems like Washington is averaging 4 to 6 drops a game during the season. Even in the wins, we definitely need a bona fide number 2 with reliable hands. You have to execute with B- or C+ talent because we don't have top tier talent in our auxiliary positions. 2 additional caught passes per game would have us sitting at 9-3 or at least 8-4. Last but not least, we don't have an identity and we are sending the mixed signals as KDot alludes to. That's the comment from B Wheeler. KDot, your reaction.
No notes. Awesome. I would love to know who you are if I knew you. It's so great.
It's tough with the username B Wheeler, right?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the name. I'm thinking about it, like what Wheelers I know. I know a few Wheelers actually, but the special teams part. I did watch the special team stuff in the All-22. They need to make some decisions as far as that kicker position and who's doing what and what it is we might need from it, compared to like what it is we want to do from a special team standpoint. Not having a guy that can kick the ball out of the back of the end zone is a bit of an issue. It's a choice. Not a choice I necessarily agree with, but it's a choice. But I understand we've had bad luck as far as that has gone, from McManus to thinking Seibert was like the next coming of Vinatieri or some shit, to now he can't hit anything above 50 yards with any consistency. So it's like, all right, you can't do that. He can't kick anything with any consistency at this point. So you got Zane Gonzalez. So I think that helps the special teams, but everything else has just been, I think, special teams guys that are just being a little too overzealous or not just playing fundamental. And I don't think that'll be something that's consistent with the Larry Izzo coached special teams unit. I got faith in Larry Izzo.
Yeah, I will be Wheeler. First off, shout out and appreciate the comments here. I'm going to push back a little bit on the drops. I know we've suffered the drops recently. I think overall in the season, the team has actually done pretty well, especially relative to the rest of the NFL when you look at the drop numbers. So actually, I do think the team's been okay in that regard. Not 4 to 6 a game. I know that was an exaggeration, but like, understood the point. I do think that the receivers over the course of the whole season have been better than that. But in the last couple, you're absolutely right. Not been good. And also shout out the special teams for the first half. I don't think they were bad the whole time. They blocked the kick. They blocked 2 kicks. So at least on that side of it, I thought they were good. Seibert was horrible. He just was. He was horrible. He's now on IR one more time. So we won't be kicking this Sunday.
Do you see him in the locker room post game? That was rough.
Yeah. You feel for him. I mean, like, yeah.
And also, anybody that was talking shit, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I get the frustration.
We don't do
anger.
that.
Fuck off.
Correct.
Like, we're not, no, fuck you.
We've always been clear. You can, like, tease and stuff, but, like, the actual, yeah, come on.
You know where Larry Izzo's from?
I don't know where Larry Izzo's from. Where?
Fort Belvoir, Virginia. He went to
Oh,
Broadway.
really? Local guy. Okay.
The area. I used to whoop Broad Run's ass in debate.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Them the fuck out. Here they come, the black kid come out to suburban high school. Oh shit, we can take care of that. Fuck you, white people. I think you know what? Tom Ridge, the director of Homeland Security, way back when during Bush administration, because that's how old we are. I whooped his it was either his granddaughter or his niece. The Secret Service, like everybody was there. I was like, I don't give a fuck. It was great.
KDot was this gangster 14-year-old just whooping people in debate.
Well, the amount of times I would force myself to throw up in the bathroom because the NFL playoffs were on and I didn't feel like staying through a tournament. They used to call it NFL playoff ascites. I had money to make. All right, guys. Peyton Manning was playing Tom Brady again, and they boy needed to catch some shit.
Yeah, you can't be a debate at that time. There's no debate. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. I felt sick to my stomach watching that game. Seeing Jayden throw that Dalton-esque interception had the PTSD hitting hard. KDot, you brought up the point that it seems like the coaching staff is worried about winning now. Do you think they're getting premature pressure from ownership? Or is this just the team starting smelling themselves a little too much too early and had to fall a little? Maybe a little of column A, and B, I'm looking forward to the all-22. Hashtag share this shit. So I have an answer to that question, but KDot, I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, I think everybody is starting to smell themselves just a little bit. I think they're overthinking it. I don't think that they're playing with the same reckless abandon they were playing with at the beginning of the season. I think that they are thinking too much. I think that when they're thinking too much, they're making mistakes that they wouldn't typically make. Like I was thinking about the last comment. I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't get on the receiver's ass completely about drops, even though it's an issue. I'd say miscues. And I'd look at any position group and I'd say miscues. There are so many just miscues. Miss block. In the wrong place. You drop the football. Bad throw. This, that, and the other. It's just you're shooting yourselves in the foot constantly. Mm-hmm. And what I see that a team did it at one point and now they're not doing it here, to me it's mental. And if it's a mental thing, then yeah, I think that the focus is somewhere else. I don't think it's from on high. I don't think it's the ownership group at all. We've seen these guys are patient and I don't think they have any. They love the return on the investment they're getting so far. There's no reason to rush anything. But I do think everybody might be trying a little too hard.
So Right. Do you think they're getting premature pressure from ownership? No, I don't think so. Do I think that the team started smelling themselves a little? Yeah, I do. And we actually have a very clear time in which that occurred when we traded for Marshawn Lattimore, right? So a lot of us were thinking, okay, this is a recalibration year. This is a let's see what we have, etc. We hit 7-2, and I was on the record the whole time saying I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade. At 7-2, I was like, oh, maybe we should.
Yeah.
And so did a bunch of other people. Some people were saying it even earlier. Trade for somebody. That did signal we're going for something deeper this year.
Yep.
Since that trade, we have lost 3 in a row. And things have maybe changed a little bit. Right? So you can point to an exact moment in time where you go, oh, okay, we did attempt to redefine what this season is going to be. Not in its entirety, but enough that we go, we have a higher ceiling. We want to explore it. And with it came increased expectations and maybe a slight delineation from the identity that we had. So that's what I would point to. The Marshawn Lattimore trade.
I got to tell you, you make a lot of good points in this show. You're wrong a lot of times, Panthers, and Mina times. But that might be the most interesting thing you've ever said. And the thing that I don't know why that just felt like an aha, no shit. And I didn't think about that. I don't hear anybody talking about that. That is it. That's it. That's what happened. What you just explained is exactly what the fuck happened. No more answers, no search for anything. That's what the fuck is happening. Like, that's clearly what it is. The expectations changed. And we all said it. We were 7-2. It was like, oh, look at the playoff picture. I'm fucking in it. You got to you got to do it. And it went counter. I mean, and you were right. You didn't really necessarily need it because it ran counter to everything else. Why didn't we? One of the knocks we had about Ayuk at the beginning of the season was like expectations that we don't need right now.
Correct.
We flipped it. We fucking flipped it.
Thank you. Yep. No, of course. And let's see how it progresses from here because, hey, he's still there. He hasn't played yet, sure. But he is still there. Do we go on a run? It's possible. We go over to Tony. Shout out, Tony. Oh, gee. 24 hours later, they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook. And I don't want to hear your bullshit. Captain Obvious, John Madden assessment this week with your stacked superstar team up north. You know who you are. Fuck Philly. Shout out, Tony, for the comment there. KDot, your reaction.
Yeah, man. Fuck Philly all day, every day. Assholes.
I do love that the interactions are occurring between people in the comment mailbag as well. Tony's like, God damn it, coach. I know it's coming. And coach's comment is right around the corner. But we go to Jim Sleazy first, who also is here. Shout out, Jim Sleazy. I'm the one that gets caught defending EB, Eric Bieniemy. But he was going through the same thing with Howell and B-Rob. Howell was limited, which put him behind schedule. B-Rob would only get you 2 yards on first down, which made Howell pass the ball too many times because he's constantly behind schedule. Get out your reaction.
No. No. What the fuck? No. All right. Okay. All right. We say Kliff doesn't do it enough, right? Mm-hmm. Eric Bieniemy sees a no gain and says, I'm not doing that ever again in the rest of the game. Like, that was the difference. The ratio was insane. I don't want to hear that shit. There have been worse rushing attacks than what it is we had last year. No one with the ratio that we had. It's horseshit. The ratio was fucking terrible past the run last year. It didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Do not.
No, I'm just saying.
No devil's advocate bullshit. Put Jim in his fucking place.
Jim, it's an intriguing point.
No,
I'll leave it at that.
that.
It was just one game. It was just one game. It was just
right now. Where's Bieniemy right now?
Oh gosh, where's he? UCLA?
He's
not doing well. He's not doing well. No, he's doing terribly. Just to be clear. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me start by saying, no, I do not think Kliff is Eric Bieniemy. Let me just start there. Okay. All I'm saying is it felt like we were falling in love with the pass a little bit, and the behind schedule thing. I could understand the comment. That's it, but not overall. So I got tripped up laughing and thinking about you just going, don't. Jim, I understand from the last game perspective, yes. But overall, I do think Kliff has been much, much better. We'd say that. I don't think Jim's saying Kliff's been bad. I think he's just noticing the parallel in that moment.
There's no parallel.
Okay, cool.
You know, Eric Bieniemy and Jim Sleazy, how about you accomplish something without Adrian Peterson or Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, motherfuckers? Do something.
We go to. And also, EB was telegraphing runs. You had been saying that for weeks. So, like, the other teams knew the 8 times we ran, they knew all 8 times we were running. So there's that. We go to Coach. Shout out, Coach. I watched NFL Pro to study Jayden, and I broke down the All-22 with Tim's Sports Talk last night. Should check that out. Washington's offense didn't play with any urgency for the first 56 minutes. Specifically, Jayden Daniels was mostly a sight thrower, about 86% of the time, and the lack of anticipation removes any margin for error from Washington's wide receiver and offensive line. Sight throwing forces tight window throws and forces a longer average time to throw. Until Jayden fixes that, I will always bet against your team. The one job you have as a quarterback is to throw your receivers open. Kliff could also be less obsessed with 1x3 sets. His obsession with 1x3 has 2 plausible explanations. First, it gives Noah, etc., easy looks against weaker coverage. Second, it's all about giving Jayden high school level reads. In terms of Tennessee, they have nice wide receivers and a nice defensive line. Washington, of course, has ass DBs aside from Mikey and a mid offensive line. Score prediction, Tennessee 32, Washington 20. Player of the game, Tavondre Sweat. Hashtag share this shit. I got to say, it does not feel good having similar thought processes in terms of picking the game with Coach, because we both landed on Tennessee. So that I don't feel quite right.
Yeah,
but
that's where you at.
And the Jayden thing doesn't rub me the right way. Anyway, KDot, your reaction.
Just saying. You want to be on the right side of history, guys. Like, matters sometimes. Mina comes. So the Jayden Daniels piece, as far as the sight throwing, basically that's another way of saying what I've been saying as far as boom bap. Boom bap means you understand exactly what's happening as far as the coverages. You understand who's got the matchup, and it's a timing thing. Take advantage of what it is. Just do it. They did it early in the season where I wanted him to be a more sight thrower. I wanted him to do more things. And now it feels like that part of it's sort of been eliminated, and he's doing more of the sight throwing because everything is like developing down the field, and we're not taking what the defense is giving us. There's a lot of Jayden holding on the football, trying to see what it is that he really likes and not trusting certain windows and trusting other windows. But all the windows are tighter than most windows because of, like Coach said, he's holding on the football a little too long, and we don't got wide receivers that can really get that separation that some of the special guys can get. So it just happens that way. I don't necessarily think I can understand not wanting to pick the team if Jayden doesn't work on that piece of it. I'm trying to be kinder to Jayden than that fucking comment in the sense of, like, I've seen him do it. If you can go back, Coach, I know you said you don't really watch the pro tape, so thank you for finally watching this fucking pro tape with Tim or whoever. Go back. The pro fucking shit's there for all season. Tell me, if you watch, do you see a difference in Jayden's game right now than you did in week 5, week 6, earlier in the season? You will.
All right. We go over to Jess Santa. Shout out, Jess Santa. I have absolutely no political affiliation. We literally pay politicians to financially rape us. It's a tale as old as time. The elite divide and conquer the masses. In the words of George Carlin, it's one big club, and we aren't in it. Here's my motherfucking football take. Daniels is about to prove why we drafted him number 2 overall. Something clicked in him. Did you notice the post-game presser when he said, "We're the Washington Commanders. We fight until the end"? I did notice that. He's got his swagger back. He was timid in his initial interviews as a rookie, And I think that's why the team initially kept him away from the media. He seems like he's gaining confidence again after his injury, and it's beginning to show again. As far as the Kingsbury late season conundrum, I'm calling bullshit. There's a three-headed monster in the offensive coaching staff between Kingsbury, Lynn, and Johnson. There has to be some checks and balances between the three of them. I believe the problem is occurring because of the O-line and running backs. The O-line is banged up and has been overperforming for most of the year. It's only been the last couple games where they were noticeably off. As much as I love B-Rob and Ekeler, this team needs to draft a stud running back. B-Rob is often injured, and Eckler's future is in question. If those moron Vagiants didn't trade Barkley to the fucktard She-Eagles, how many wins do they have? They would have lost to us without Barkley. We also need one of those dynamic running backs and a reliable wide receiver to complement Terry. I've seen way too many critical drops this season. I'm curious to see what Rodriguez does. He's had fumbles in the past, but I'm also wondering what Wiley looks like. He had a great preseason, Austin Wiley. He had a great preseason performance. As far as defense, they need to generate more pressure and stop the run as always. Love the show. Have a happy Turkey Day, everyone. Share this shit. I mean, that comment got me fired up with the Daniels about to prove why he was drafted number 2 overall. I do remember Jayden saying, "We are the Washington Commanders. We fight until the end." I also remember him saying, as you all are learning, well, as I'm learning, you don't ride the roller coaster. You stay even keeled. And I remember absolutely loving that and going, man, I wish I heard that from Dan Quinn, because I'd heard Dan Quinn speak and then I heard Jayden speak. I felt calmer after Jayden spoke than Dan did. Get out your reaction to it, though. Assuming you're not frozen. There you are.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. George Carlin, my favorite George Carlin line is, they call it the American dream because you have to be asleep to think it exists.
That's a banger.
That fucking line.
It's a banger.
It's a banger. Yeah, George Carlin, he's a guy. So yeah, I digress from the rest of the politics shit. Yeah, I'm with you as far as the Saquon Barkley when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I think Nick Sirianni would be on his way out the fucking door if they didn't have him this year. Just because he really made that offense fucking go, and if they made him more one-dimensional, then it'd be what it is. I don't know if I want to say this.
You gotta say it.
I like the fiery Jayden where the Washington Commanders is that and the other. I dig that. It's what I typically look for. It's what I thought like J.J. McCarthy had, like that fiery nature and stuff. What I will say is that earlier this season, I appreciated I'm not going to say monotone, but once again, the even keel, it didn't really change vibe that I got from Jayden. That dumb fucking smile on his face the entire time, right? I feel as though right now the team might be trying too hard. And I think that there is let's go back to the way things were. I feel as though people are trying to rile themselves up to get in the mode to get shit done. And that's not necessarily what we need right now. I don't think there's a lack of people playing hard. I think that you're playing too hard. You're trying so fucking hard to get shit done that you're overdoing it. And I think some of Jayden's stuff that I've been critical of as far as take what the defense gives you is because I got to make this fucking play happen right now. And I'm like, I need everybody just woosah. That's what I want. I need everybody just chill out.
You'd mentioned it a few times about trying too hard. It finally just clicked. I just remembered Dan Quinn's been saying the same thing about how we might be pressing too much or over trying and stuff like that. So once again, echoing what the coaching staff is also noticing and saying as well, that, hey, let's take a step back. Let's focus on the fundamentals, relax, and let's play this game, and they've shown flashes. I think that was the thing, right? I was thinking about, why did expectations rise so much? Of course, 7-2 has a lot to do with it. We've also seen specifically the Arizona game, and I think them doing well also recently hasn't necessarily helped, because you see a 6-5 Arizona Cardinals team that's played against good teams and won, and we destroyed them. I mean, both sides of the ball, we looked very, very good. 42-14, right? So you look at the highs of this team and you go, this is what we can be. And I think that inflated expectations as well. So it's the way we won some of the games that also inflated that.
Yeah, of course. But I look over the course of the season, I'm saying that, like, yeah, it's true. We haven't beat a good team this year. Like, really, unless you talk about the Arizona Cardinals, then maybe give it them. But we were in the games. So what it means is, like, something's changed clearly from back then to right now. And the thing that I can probably pinpoint more than any other thing is, yeah, they're pressing it. They're trying too hard. They want to do so well, which is good. It's good that you have a locker room that, like, you don't need to question anybody's fucking effort. Like, they can light the fire for themselves. But sometimes when I see mistakes and miscues, if every week I come on here after watching the All-22, I'm like, execution. They just didn't execute. It's not that the offense has been completely figured out. It's not that dudes are taking plays off. It's you didn't do what you're supposed to do because you're overthinking it's just mistakes, it's mental errors. And it's like when we have success offensively the last few weeks, right? It's in rhythm.
Yeah.
It's when you see one or two things start happening, they're not even thinking anymore. They're just fucking going. Mm-hmm. They're just rolling with it. And the moment they get over to the sideline, the moment that something interrupts it, the moment the TV timeout or anything else, in their heads again. It's fucking on. That's why every time that they do the no huddle, I'm like, go, just go, stop, just go. Like, I'm yelling at the TV, just go.
Yeah. We go over to my generic name, also known as former co-host of the show, Matt Regan.
Oh,
shout out. Very little questioning of the quarterback play. I guess that's what happens when you're the golden child. Just shows a lack of integrity from the two hosts. Weak. Number 16, Cousins. Number 17, Cooper Rush. Number 18, Jayden Daniels. Surely in reference to his quarterback rankings, which are clearly dumb, having those two guys ahead of Jayden. I think we do a pretty decent job getting on Jayden. Is he the golden child as well? Yeah, at least for me. So I'll go ahead and state where I'm at there. But I'll say, Matt, I think we do a pretty good job making sure we let the audience know, especially KDot with the All-22 reviews, how Jayden's doing. And I'll also have you know this guy's top 10. He's going to be a superstar, so I'm looking forward to it. KDot, over to you.
The Detroit public school system showing itself, and when you clearly just, if you're average there, everything looks inflated because they grade on a curve. So Ann Arbor, he didn't deserve to be there, but he's just there, so it's what it is. Now, when I was going back in the archives, when I was looking at that video about the kicking, I did want to go to another video that I knew that I was right and I was ahead of the curve one, and actually got me in trouble years ago. And I just want to dunk on Matt just a little bit more. You could not have been more wrong about Aaron Rodgers, you piece of shit. I was right. I was right about Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to give you too much shit because you were wrong too. But here, I've been saying it for years. Nobody want to believe me. Nobody want to talk to me about it. Matt, you were fucking wrong. So where's he in your fucking rank? Is he still number one? He's still number one, dumbass? Fuck you.
We conclude with Tony. Shout out, Tony. Shout out, Matt, one more time. Appreciate that. Emilia Perez? It's a double no for me, Dot. It's a musical, and I have to read it. Couldn't do it. I watched Matrix Resurrection, and it was way better this time. I also saw Predestination on Netflix. It was really good. Let me know what you think. KDot, have you seen Predestination and your reaction to Tony's comment?
I have not, but my favorite thing is hearing people react to Emilia Perez, which I watched for the second time. I loved it more than the first time. I'm telling you, man, there's no in between on this movie. Like there's no in between on this movie. Yeah, man. I don't even want to describe it, but yeah, it is a musical. I'll give that away. It is a fucking musical.
And that was the common mailbag, and this was the show. This is District Divided DC Sports Podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Amit. That is KDot. And if you enjoyed the episode, which also had the All-22 review against the Dallas Cowboys, if you could please like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Share the shit. You gotta share this shit. Share the shit. You gotta share this shit. Share it.
Share it, please. We greatly appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll do a very quick after the pod, which begins right now. Okay, so I miss most of football. I was, chilling with family and stuff like that. I did, of course, catch on social media the end of the Bears-Lions game and the clock management. And I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it a little bit. But I would also say that it was an intriguing situation. And you just mentioned Eberflus got fired, right? So initially, they get sacked on 2nd and 20.
Yes.
3rd and 26, and there's around 32 seconds left when it happens or something like that.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, 32 seconds left. And I initially agreed with not calling timeout because it's 3rd and 26. You would have to run a play, run a kicker on. That can be chaotic. So saving the timeout for getting a few yards and then kicking made sense to me. The moment the clock hit like 15, I was like, if you're Eberflus, and I would have hated this, by the way, but if you're Eberflus, you have to just call it. You have to just call the timeout because you can be as mad as you want to with Caleb after. I would have been, but like, it's clearly gone wrong. And then Caleb after the game, they snapped this at 6 for those that didn't see it, by the way. 6 seconds. That's when they snapped it. After the game, Caleb said he changed the play, which is just as shocking. Like, you don't have time to change the play. So there's fault there too. But it was an intriguing, like, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't think you call timeout in that spot, but there is a certain second amount where you just have to call it. You just have to. And he never did. And that was it was fascinating. And now he's fired.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me. I think everything froze on my.
But I can hear you. I could hear you. You have a very thoughtful expression on your frozen face right now. It's nice. Noticing the features of the beard. A little more salt than I was expecting. Just a little. Oh yeah, you're long gone. Anyway, I'll monologue for a little while until KDot's back. Matt Eberflus being fired, I think, does make sense. KDot, interrupt me whenever you're back. Matt Eberflus being fired does make sense. Oh, well. I'm sure we'll be able to edit this. Matt Eberflus being fired does make sense ultimately. But there you are. I'm assuming we're probably going to have to edit that part. But anyway. What were your thoughts? Why don't we jump over to you? What were your thoughts on it?
Did you just vamp the entire time? Like you were so
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll see what it looks like when we edit.
Yeah, you should have fun with that.
It was just the Bears are broken. The Bears are broken. So like this is the worst moment of Caleb's young career because how do you not have more situational awareness than that? Like you fucked up clearly. Matt Eberflus not calling the timeout once he saw the clock hit like 10 seconds is absolutely stupid. But then I also think just because of the language of everybody after the game, they were fucking over Eberflus. And I think Eberflus is over them. The vibes have been bad. The locker room almost had a complete revolt last year with the Justin Fields thing. Then they run it back with these guys. We all knew, and that's why I said at the very beginning, I root for Caleb Williams. I think he's a good fucking player. I've liked all the quarterbacks in this draft pretty much, okay? And I've been saying it since day one. But I know this, if I'm looking at what's going to happen for their careers, I already know going into the season, Caleb will be on his second offensive system in the second year. Period. Because it was going to happen. Now, I give us as the Washington Commanders a little bit credit because I think we did the final nail in the coffin. We're like, we broke them.
Oh, for sure. It feels great.
But it's a colossal failure from everyone. The language of everybody after it, how it is they handled it, everybody fucked it up. There should be no finger pointing. Everyone should say, yeah, we've bungled that. But to hear Eberflus after the game, I like the situation we were in. Fuck off. Like, fuck off, bro. Like, you get the fuck out of here. Like, I get this is where you need to be Ron Rivera. Just give me some coach speak. You can't say that.
Yeah. That was tough. That was stuff, especially because Keenan Allen after the game also said, like, hey, I think we as players did enough to win the game. He did say as players. So, like, and DJ Moore the whole time has been bitching about literally everything. The vibes could not be worse in Chicago from this season. They have the bones to end up being an intriguing team next season if they get the head coaching hire correct, if they get the offensive coordinator correct. They do need to build the line. They do need to build a line for sure. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens with Chicago year 2.
I just don't think the pieces match.
Really?
I don't think Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift to me, weird, especially if Swift is just going to be the lead back. What they did with wide receivers, I just think that it felt like a rush together job that like Dan Snyder or Vinny Serrato would have done. These are good names. Let's go get them. I just don't think that they fit. And I don't think that like they know who they are at all offensively. Like you talk about a team without an identity offensively. Jesus Christ, it's totally them. Anybody that gets the hire, I don't know how anybody doesn't look at this to say, there's no identity here. I need to start over. And like, if you're going to do that, those bones of that fucking team are going to change dramatically. And you got Caleb in a second system, potentially with guys that aren't that talented. This is where I keep going back to. I hate that bus label because a lot of these guys go to situations that just are not going to work out for anybody.
Right. Yeah. But also, we'll say this, Caleb, numbers wise, and I think even as you watch him, has played a lot better. So when they let go of Shane Waldron, I think Thomas Brown is the OC now. They've done a lot better. So
head coach.
Yeah. And now he might be the interim. I don't know who the interim is. That would be a pretty quick, but it's an intriguing. You may as well
try something.
Yeah,
if you've been playing better and he likes this dude, just fucking do it. Who gives a shit? Like they're going to be trying to go get Ben Johnson this offseason. Like that's what's going to happen. Like we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah. Someone had mentioned that. Yeah, well, I mean, someone had mentioned that Caleb's second half, which is where he really turned it on. Ben Johnson got a front row seat to see it. So almost like a little audition to be like, oh, maybe I can do something with this. So we'll see. I do agree with that though, because I think personality wise, he doesn't strike me as like, the leader of men that we talk about wanting and stuff like that. So
he's McDaniels like, he's Kingsbury, he's Kliff Kingsbury like. It makes
he's more good Josh McDaniels to me, right?
He's definitely more Josh McDaniels, but I think he's shyer. He's more shy. McDaniels tries to like be one of the guys, and he's just forcing it, and he says some really off-putting things where you're just like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I don't think Ben does that, but there are so many motivators on that team. Like, did you see Antoine Randall get on Jameson Williams?
Yes, that was awesome.
This is why that team works the way it does. They have so many personalities like that. If it was up to Ben, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Well, anyway, internet's been a bit choppy too, and we're now at an hour 42. I guess maybe after I had a little bit less, but thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate you all, and hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Certainly a better one than KDot had with the not feeling great. And we will see you after this game, where I pray to be 7-6, and that KDot is 8-5, and our Commanders are 8-5. So let's get a victory, and hopefully it's a shade. It's Monday. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.